Assalamu alaikum. This is week 3, lecture 1. Subject is digital logic design. Course code is EE241. In this lecture, we'll study chapter 2 of the book, and it's about Boolean algebra and logic gates. The book is Digital Logic Design by Maurice Mano, and this is the second chapter of it. In this chapter, we'll discuss the basic definitions of Boolean algebra, two-valued Boolean algebra, basic theorems and properties, Boolean functions, algebraic manipulation, complement of a function, canonical and standard forms, digital logic gates, extension to multiple inputs. So starting from the basic definitions, to understand Boolean algebra, we have to see or understand some basic definitions which are related to sets. A set of element is any collection of objects, usually have a common property. For example, if I talk about digital numbers, we all know that digital numbers are from 0 to 9. So it's a set of elements, and they have a common property that they are digital numbers, and we can use them. We can have different operations, but we can perform different operations on them. So these types of collection of objects are called set, and there is some common properties in them. If S is a set and X and Y are certain objects, so we can write, if we have to define about our set, we have two things, that X and this belongs to S. It means that this X basically is a member or is an object of the set S. Y does not belong to S means that Y is not a member of the set S. For example, again, if I say decimal numbers, so I can write that 9 belongs to set of decimal numbers. We can name the set S, D, whatever. But if I talk about A, because it's not a digital number, a decimal number, so I will write A does not belongs to S. A binary operator defined on a set of S of element is a rule that assigns to each pair of elements from S a unique element from S. What does it mean? Let us assume or understand with the help of decimal numbers again. Digital numbers again. For example, if I have 2 plus 3. Now 2 it belongs to S, 3 belongs to S. I am talking about S is digital numbers. So decimal numbers again. Let us say that there is a set D, and this D is decimal numbers. 2 belongs to D, 3 belongs to D. Both of these are elements of D. So when I say that 2 plus 3 it gives 5, the answer 5 is a unique number for them. It means when I say it's a unique number, it means then whenever we have an operator, which we all know is a plus sign, when we add 2 plus 3, it always gives 5. We can't have any other a number here, an element here, like 2 plus 3 cannot be 6. So an operator defines a relationship or a rule, or assigns a rule to two pairs of elements which belongs to S and gives a unique element from S. This example here is for decimal numbers, but same goes to binary operators. There are some operators in binary. When we talk about binary, it means that these operators or these things apply on binary numbers. That is, and we all know that binary numbers are from 0 and 1. So there is an operator in binary systems, or a binary operator, which when we give two elements or we apply that operator on two elements of our set S, it gives a unique value or unique element, and that element also belongs to S. For example, if I say that A steric B is equal to C, steric is a binary operator. If it specifies a rule for finding C from pair A and B, and also if A, B, C belongs to S. If steric is a binary operator and we have said that A steric B is equal to C, then it means that A, B should belong to S, and the result should also belong to S. And for A and B, when applied to this operator, it should give a unique value C. For this A steric B, there should or there cannot be any other element, for example DE. It will be only C, a unique element, and all three of them belong to S. And steric is not a binary operator if A, B belongs to S but C does not belongs to S. So all these three elements should belong to S. Then we'll say it is a binary operator. For binary numbers, it gives a binary output. Now comes to the definitions. Postulates of a mathematical system from the basic assumptions for which it is possible to deduce the rules, theorems, and properties of the system. Basically, postulates, as mentioned here, it's a basic mathematical system, and these are assumptions which help to get rules, theorems, and properties. And these rules, theorems, and properties help us to understand or to design or to implement our circuits. So some basic or the common postulates used in formulating various structures we'll discuss here. The first is closure. A set S is closed with respect to a binary operator. It means that we can apply a binary operator on S if n is closed, means that for every pair of elements of S, the binary operator specifies a rule for obtaining a unique element of S. Same as I said before, that if we apply an operator on any pair of elements of S, it should give us a unique element of. The result should be again from S. Like for example, if we have a set of natural numbers and we know that they are 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on, is closed with respect to binary operator plus by the rules of arithmetical addition. Now here I said before the previous slide that binary operator, we basically in this chapter we are studying how to work on Boolean algebra and binary logic. But the basic from the start what we are doing, we are understanding that how can we apply operations or operators. Here binary operator means that we have two inputs and we are applying some formula or some operator on it, and we'll get a result. So when we talk about natural numbers, we can apply some binary operators on it, as we all know, and that is arithmetical operation, addition. So when we apply addition on any of these numbers, we will get a result, and that result should also belongs to n. As I said before, if I add 2 plus 3, it gives us 5, and 2 and 3 belongs to n, and 5 also belongs to n. So I can say that plus operator, the binary operator, that is plus, is closed on n. But for example, if I talk about subtraction, now we know that if we subtract 2 minus 3, 3 minus 2, the result is 1, and we know that 3 also belongs to natural numbers, 2 also belongs to natural, 1 also belongs to natural number. But when I subtract 3 from 2, that is 2 minus 3, it will give minus 1. Minus 1 is not an element of this natural number set. So the set of n, a natural number n, is not closed with respect to binary operator minus. It means that if I perform a binary operator subtraction operation on any two sets of or a pair of elements of n, it is not necessary that the result will also be from the set of n. Whereas when I perform a binary operator plus, that is arithmetical addition, on any pair of elements from n, it will give us a unique number, and that unique number will belong to n. So in this way we say that closure means that if we perform an operation on any pair of elements from a set, if the result is again from the set, then it means it's closed with respect to that binary operator. But if we perform a binary operation on a set of elements of n, and the result is not from n, then we say that n is not closed with respect to binary operator. Associative law, this we all know, we have studied from our mathematics courses. Associative law means that if, for example, there is a binary operator static on set of S, is said to be associative whenever x static y, we get an answer, then we static z. So if, for example, x static y, sorry for the writing, is A, then A static z. First we have two elements x and y. We perform a binary operator static on it and get A result. Then this A will apply the same binary operator between A and z, and we get a result. This is equivalent to if we first apply this operator on y and z, and the result we apply that operator on it and get this result should be same when we apply the operator on y and z. The result we get from y and z, with that will apply operator on it with x. Both these results should be same, and all of these x, y and z belongs to S set. Commutative law means that there is when we apply a binary operator, if the order of the elements does not make any difference, then we say it's a commutative law. It means here we can see that x static y is equivalent to y static x, and x and y both belongs to S. This can be same as in our simple mathematics. When we apply a plus sign on two numbers, the order of the two numbers does not make any difference. For example, 2 plus 3 will also give 5, and 3 plus 2 will also give 5. The fourth is identity element. Identity element is, as we all know, that in mathematics or maths, when we multiply 2 multiplied by 1 will give us 2. So this one is identity element with respect to operator multiplication, which means that whenever we multiply any element of a set with this operator and apply this operator on any element of our set, it gives back the same element. Similarly, when we add 2 to 0, it gives back 0. So 0 is an identity element with respect to binary operation in digital numbers. So 0 is identity operation with respect to operator plus. How? Whenever we add any element to 0, it gives back the same element. So identity element is a set of S is said to have an identity element with respect to binary operation static on S if there exists an element E belongs to S with the property that when we apply our operator static on any element of S and the identity element, and the order does not make any difference, we will get back that element. But the important part is that this identity element should also belong to the same set. Now comes the inverse. Inverse says that all know that for example 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. Now what we did here, that according to the operator minus, we get again a 0. This 0 is an identity operation, so I should write like this. Now it's better. Now these 2 and minus 2 are two different numbers, and when we apply a plus operator on it, it gives back the identity element. Similarly, if I say 2 multiplied by 1 by 2, it gives 1. So in our simple multiplication, if we multiply 2 with its inverse, we commonly say its inverse, that is 1 by 2, we get back 1, that is our identity element with respect to multiplication. 0 is identity element with respect to plus, and 1 is identity element with respect to multiply. So this is the same definition of inverse here. A set S having the identity element E. Okay, it's important that E should be a set S with respect to a binary operator steric. Okay, there is a binary operator steric, and we have an identity element E is said to have an inverse whenever for every X belong to S, there exists an element Y belongs to S. For every element of X which belongs to S, there should be a Y that belongs to S. Both of them, X and Y, should belong to S. And when we apply this steric operator, whatever steric it is, it should give us identity matrix again. And we can see here examples. Now comes distributive law. For distributive law, there should be two binary operators, and these two binary operators should be on set S, and we all know that X steric Y dot Z is equal to X steric Y dot X steric Z. This is distributive law, and this I can explain with the help of this example from our simple mathematics. Now here there is an operator, multiplication operator here, and this is a plus. When we apply distributive law, we can write here 2 multiplied by 3 plus 2 multiplied by 5. This is very common, we all know. So here basically we have applied a distributive law and over plus. Now comes axiomatic definition of Boolean algebra. Let's combine all the things which we studied in last few slides. Closure with respect to operator plus and dot. In Boolean algebra, we have two basic algebraic or operators that are plus and dot. So when we say that plus and dot, closure with respect to the operator plus and dot, it means that if there are two elements X and Y which belongs to a binary set, that is B, here it is defined that Boolean algebra is an algebraic structure defined by a set of element B together with two operators plus and dot. So closure means that plus and dot operators are closure with binary set of B, means that if we have two elements X and Y which belongs to B, then these operator will produce a result that is again belongs to B. Then comes identity element with respect to plus and dot. Again, this plus is not same as arithmetical plus, but if we add we apply an operator of plus on 0 and any element of B, it will produce give us that element back again. And for dot, the identity element is 1. Commutative with respect to plus and dot means that for both these operations, we the order of the elements it doesn't make any difference. Now from dot is distributive over plus, that if we have X dot Y plus Z, so it will give us X dot Y plus X dot Z. And if we have a plus is distributive over 0, means that if we have X plus in brackets we have Y dot Z, it will give us X plus Y multiplied by dot X plus Z. Now comes here the fifth one was complement. Here it says that for every element of every element x that belongs to B, there exists an x bar that belongs to B. That is complement of x, such that when we x plus x bar will give us 1 and x dot x bar will give us 0. There exist at least two elements x and y which belongs to B such that x is not equal to y. Obviously there are two elements, and basically this means that it's not that there is only one element in our set. There are two elements, more than two, and both of them are not equal, and they both belongs to our set B. Now when we compare our Boolean algebra with arithmetical algebra, the postulates do not include the associative law. However, it can be deprived from other postulates. Directly, we don't have associative law, but we can manipulate or deprive it. The distributive law for for plus over dot is x plus y dot z is equal to x plus y dot x plus z, as we said here, is valid for Boolean algebra, but it's not for arithmetical operation, which means that, for example, if I have 2 plus 5 multiplied by 3, in Boolean we can write we can apply this formula, but in normal arithmetic we can't write 2 plus 5 dot 2 plus 3. In a normal arithmetic, 2 plus 5 multiplied by 3 means first we'll multiply 5 and 3, 15 we'll get, and then we'll add 2. So this is the difference between a normal arithmetic and Boolean algebra. Normal arithmetical operation and arithmetical algebra and Boolean algebra. Boolean algebra does not have additive and multiplicative inverses. Complement is not available in normal ordinary algebra. Boolean algebra deals with two-valued Boolean numbers. Two-valued Boolean numbers is that we have 0 or 1, whereas ordinary algebra deals with real numbers. Now, a two-valued Boolean algebra means that we have when we apply a two-valued Boolean algebra on any operator, there will be two elements x and y, and we'll apply an operator and we'll get the result. So when we have x and y, because there are two inputs and possible value or states of both these elements are 2, that is 0 or 1, which means that x can only have either a 0 or a 1 and y can also have either a 0 or a 1. So 2 means that, and when two elements we have, then possible number of combinations which we'll get will be 4. How? Because 2 raised to power 2 is 4. So when we have this is a truth table. This we saw in the last lecture, last chapter also. A truth table is a table in which we see all the combinations for inputs, and against all the combinations of the input we find or we calculate or we write the output. So first for x and y we'll write all the combinations. First both can be 0, then any one of them can be 0, and lastly all of them will be 1. So when we apply Boolean algebra operator dot here means that when both the inputs should be 1, it will produce a 1. If both of the inputs are not 1, then it will be a 0, and this is an AND gate. Now this here is that again we'll apply operator plus here. Same process, we'll make a truth table and we'll write all possible inputs of combinations of the inputs, and again as both of them can be 0, and one of them can be 0, and both of them can be 1. So in plus or a OR gate, if any one of the input is 1, we'll get output 1. If both of them are 0, we'll get a 0. And lastly is the complement or inverse. Inverse is a gate which has only one input, so x will write x can be a 0 or can be a 1, and inverse basically takes a complement or inverses. So for 0 it will be 1, and for 1 it will be 0, the reverse. Now comes the commutative law, are obvious from the symmetry of the binary operator tables, and then we'll see distributive x y plus z is equal to xy plus x of z can be shown to hold for the operator tables. Again, this is our tables operator table. Here we have three inputs x and y and z. For 3 we'll have 2 raised to power 3, that is 8 combinations. So first we'll write the inputs x, y, z and all the combinations, starting from that all of them all three of them is 0 till all 3 of them is 1. In between, any one input can be 1, any 2 inputs can be 1. So we have all the combinations, all will start 0, from then we'll have 0 0 1 0 1 0 and so on. So first for this we have distributive law. So first we'll have y plus z. Y plus z is y plus OR gate. When here in y of z columns we'll see when any one of them is 1, we'll get a 1. So by this we wrote this y plus z. Then we have to x dot y plus z. So we'll see this column x and this column. Now we'll perform an AND operator on it or dot operator on it, and it says that if both of them is 1, then we'll have 1, otherwise we'll have a 0. So we have found this. Now this is equivalent to xy plus x of z. So first we'll calculate x dot y. X dot y is applying the operator dot operator on x and y. And x and y, again as I mentioned before, if both of them are 1, then our output will be 1. So only these last two combinations we have, both of them are 1, so our output will be 1, otherwise all of it is 0. Then we'll calculate x dot z. We'll apply multiply operator on it, x dot z. Again the same process, that if x and z, any one of them is 1, we'll get a 0 output. Only we'll get 1 when we'll have both of them will be 1. So we perform this. Now after getting x dot y and x dot z, we'll apply a plus operator on both of them. Plus operator is OR gate, and which means that for for output to be 1, any one of them can be 1, and if both of them is 1, then also we'll have 1. So if you see this column and this column, both of them are equal, so we say that this equation is equal and it holds, this distributive law holds. Now complement x plus x bar is equal to 1 means 0 plus 0 bar. Now 0 bar means the complement of 0, which is 1. So when we have 0 plus 1, it will give us a 1. Similarly, when we have 1 plus 1 bar is 0. So 1 plus 0 will again be 1. X dot x bar is equal to 0. If we have 0 dot 0 bar, we'll have 0 dot 1. 0 dot 1, that is AND operator. For AND to give a 1, it's important that both of them should be 1. So because whenever we have a complement x bar, it will never produce a 1 because both of them will be different. And as I said that our Boolean function operator set B is a set of two elements, that is 0 and 1, and both of them are distinct. Plus basically is OR operation, and is dot is AND operation. Complement operator is a NOT operation, and binary logic is a two-valued binary algebra. This is for this lecture. In this and the next lecture, we'll see uh, different theorems and properties, and then afterwards we'll prove some of these properties and theorems by the help of them. Thank you.